Howdy folks, we are back in No Rest for the Wicked, and this time we'll be going down the rabbit hole of gear comparisons. And yeah, I know it's a really big topic. Everyone is always asking, what gear should I wear, how does this work and all that. And to be honest, I don't know half of it either. It's rather confusing. So yeah, with that being said, I'll be doing a comparison between my standard gear setup and a purple variation that I've now made. Our main goal here is to see what the differences are, and then finally how they perform on the battlefield versus Plague Intensity Level 4 bosses. For this comparison, we'll be taking on none other than Annora Shadow in the Nameless Pass. So, as you can see here, we have my standard armor set infused with various gems of my choosing. First off, we have our trusty claymore with everything upgraded to the maximum. Then pretty much the same applies for all our other gear, helmet, chest, legs, and then finally gloves. And then lastly, we'll be using the exact same rings for both standard and purple variation setups. One thing to keep in mind here is that standard infused gear versus purples are that the options available are vastly different. Getting all the same perks is not always possible, as they differ greatly on the purple variations. Also, in order to keep this as accurate as possible stats wise, we'll be using the exact same stats composition for both sets of gear. Granted, I had to play around with item weight reduction on certain pieces to make this possible in order to remain in the fast weight class category. The initial armor pieces all started with exactly the same armor weight and armor given, so that the comparison remains on fair footing. With our standard gear, our armor rating is sitting at 65%, with our health at 312, stamina points at 80 with stamina regen at 40. I'm not all that worried about focus since I'm not using any ruins in my playthrough, so keep that in mind. And then lastly, our total damage sits at 390 for our claymore. As you can see, we went with 22 in health, 59 in strength, and a massive 36 in equipment load. Okay, moving on to our purple set, and you can instantly see that everything on here looks a lot different stats wise. Don't worry all that much about trying to remember everything you see now, as I'll be doing a comprehensive breakdown on everything a little bit later in the video. So yeah, for now we're just taking a quick glance at everything. Moving on to our stats, you can see that our armor rating has dropped significantly to 54% from 65 previously. And that is mostly due to increased armor gem infusion on my standard gear. Same applies for our health, which has dropped to 235 compared to 312. And then our stamina has dropped from 80 to 55 points, with stamina regen sitting at 60 compared to 40 previously. And then lastly, our claymore damage remains exactly the same at 390, since any added damage bonuses only gets applied once you actually hit something. Right, now that that is done, we are moving over to our comparisons, and starting with our trusty claymore. As you can see, the base damage numbers is identical and exactly the same at 389. We went with heat damage infusion on both to keep that equal, with 10% lifesteal compared to gain 4 health on charged attacks to try and balance it out. Next up, its max health increased by 15%, which got swapped out for damage increased by 30% against large enemies. Keeping in mind that the options available on standard infused gear isn't always available on purple gear. Max stamina increased by 15% got replaced with stamina recovery increased by up to 25% based on durability. And then I had to add in item weight reduction on the purple variation in order to remain below the 35% weight threshold, mostly due to any other perks available on purple weapons not really benefiting my build that much. Okay, moving on to armor. I really do hope that people are able to see the smaller text on here, because I just tried fitting everything onto one page so that it's more easier for everyone to, compare everything. So if you're not able to see it, I would suggest just, scrolling back in the video and look as I highlighted every single item beforehand. I'm not going to try and discuss everything here with an extensive breakdown of every single piece, and instead add everything together and then compare them in the end calculations. You can clearly see that the stats differ vastly over pretty much every single piece, which is going to make things a bit on the complicated side. But we will try our best to break down everything into a simpler pieces so that we can try and get a better understanding of what everything means. We will be starting with our standard armor by adding all the same stats together. First off, we have max health, which is increased by a total of 35% across all pieces. Then, max stamina is being increased by 45%. Stamina recovery is being increased by 32%, and stamina cost is lowered by 10%. Regainable health is sitting at 40%, with the total armor being increased by 24%. Granted, we get another 20% from one ring we are wearing. And then lastly, we have weight reduction, which I pretty much just played with so that I can get to the 35% threshold. Alrighty, moving on to the purple armor setup, which is where things get somewhat complicated due to the wording being huge describing everything. First off, we start with additional health, and that is currently sitting at 13%, which is a bit odd. I think that should be 15, but that's, I probably just forgot to exalt that. So yeah, whatever. Our max stamina is increased to 10%, with stamina recovery sitting at, 75% based on max durability. Stamina cost is decreased by 4% naturally, plus another 20% at low focus, which I think we should be sitting at most of the time due to losing focus when hit. Okay, so the biggest difference is here that our regainable health is sitting at 0% currently. So I'll guess we'll see how that goes. But yeah, if you're wondering what regainable health is, pretty much when you get hit by anything, your health bar would be slightly faded out towards the end. So if you hit something quickly afterwards again, you will regain a certain percentage of that health that you have lost. Same applies for our armor increase, which is down to 0, keeping in mind that our ring still gives us that extra 20%. And then once more, I played around with the weight decrease so that we can get down to the 35% threshold. Okay, moving on to the benefits of purple armor finally. We can see that our damage taken is decreased by a massive 40% based off durability, which will more than likely offset the difference between our armor values, hopefully. Healing is also increased by an insane 60%, which means we'll be getting more lifesteal from our purple gear setup. Plus, you'll heal an extra 60% when consuming food, which is an added bonus. Another additional perk is we'll be dealing an additional 15% damage on damage taken, plus another 15% on damage dodged. These are obviously situational and will not always apply, so keep that in mind. And then to top it all off, we get a massive 25% increase in physical damage. All in all, on the surface, it would appear that purple gear offers more value for my claymore build. At least that's what the perk says. Now the real question is, how well does it perform on the battlefield, right? Let's go see for ourselves. For this comparison, we'll be taking on Annora Shadow at the Nameless Pass with Plague Intensity 4. We will be starting with our standard gear, after which we will swap over to our purple loadout and repeat the same boss. It's worth noting that getting the exact same corruptions wasn't even remotely possible. The biggest difference between the two runs was that on our purple run, the boss had an additional 30% health. I tried everything under the sun to get these corruptions to be as close as possible, but sadly it just wasn't meant to be. Thankfully, both runs includes enemies take 50% less damage at high health. And here we are finally, ready to battle! Woohoo! Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, yeah. You're doing good. Just a few swings and a lot of misses, it seems. Yep. I have fought you many a times, my good friend. And in that time, I have certainly learned some of your moves, at least. Except for that one. Okay, but let's concentrate on damage numbers over here. It seems that we are currently doing 207 per hit. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, scream all you want. Yep, actually, no, we switched over to 420, no, what was it, 412? Okay, so he's below half health now. Alrighty. This is going fairly well so far. Well, at least in my mind. Oh, no, I can't. Damn it, every time I can't touch this freaking shockwave. You think I'd learn, but nope, not really. Well, he's getting very close to being at the second stage, at least. Oh, damn it, I missed. What's new, right? Okay, one more hit. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that was 412. So it should come down to 206 again. Ow. Oh, you get a gun. Run. Like a headless chicken. Yeah! Okay, we're back to 206. Great, okay. Whoop! Almost got me. What do you do? No! Oh, damn it. I don't know how to read those attacks. It's a bit strange. Okay, you're just passing around all over the place, it seems. Little tentacles. Yeah. Okay, 206 again. Oh, damn it! I accidentally pressed the button. Happens to everyone, right? Or was it just me? Anyways, let's see here. Nope, still can't touch that stupid thing. Ah, okay, I should probably heal up a bit, otherwise I might just have to redo it again. Nope. Oh man. Ow. That's like the 4th time in a row. Come on, we can do it. Yeah. Okay, 412 again. So it's back to. Yeah, it's definitely below half health now. Okay. Just concentrate to get this. Yeah. That's another 412. And I actually wanted to do a heavy hit, but then my mouse decided otherwise. Okay, it's probably another 2 hits, right? One, and just one more. God. Yep, leap, and dead. Here we go. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, so that's all done with my standard gear. And I guess we're going to see if the purples are worthwhile, but I'm leaning towards they probably are, considering the amount of effort you have to put into making them. Okay, here we go again. Plague intensity 4. Enemy stagger resistance increased by 50%. Enemy takes 50% less damage at higher health. Damage taken increased by 30% for 10 seconds after consuming food. Movement speed decreased by 20% per nearby enemy. Healing decreased by 20%. Enemies regain health. Lose 10 stamina on damage taken. Enemy lifesteal increased by 20%. Enemy max health increased by 30%. And lose 10 focus on damage taken. Because the biggest difference here is the enemy max health is increased by 30%. So we're just gonna have to keep that in mind. And yeah, guess we're gonna see if we're able to take this guy down. And hopefully, I'd imagine we're gonna deal a lot more damage. Alrighty, what do you have in there, Mr. Annora? Okay, so that's 262, so that's already a very big increase, I'd say. If my calculations are correct, that is about a 27% increase from my standard gear. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Ow! Ow! Damn it, this guy is so fast. Okay, one thing I have noticed so far is that my stamina... I don't have nearly as much stamina as I used to have on my standard build, which is probably... It's definitely the case. But at least it regains, the regeneration is a lot faster, so that's... yeah, that's working out for me at least. Okay, we are round 2. Let's see here. Dodge. Ow! Damn it! I think that definitely, in my eyes, that definitely went a lot faster than my first one, right? On the standard gear side. Let's see if I can take some damage. Yep, got some damage. Great. So that's hitting slightly harder. It's meant to. I couldn't really see the numbers. And a dodge and another hit. Yeah, that's definitely 260 something. Okay, let's just come over here, see if we can see the numbers again. 262. Okay, so it's definitely a 20% increase so far. And that's my mouse just acting up again. Okay. Almost at half health. Oh man! I missed that one completely. Can be a bit tricky to get the proper distance going. Okay, let's see. Can we get some damage? Yes. Okay. 5. 23. Okay, so he's below a half health now. Yeah, so that's pretty much. Let's see. Calculation wise, that's another. It's the same. It's a 27% increase. My goodness. Ow. No idea, I can't get up at all. Okay, I had to press the attack button for some reason, that's a bit odd. But anyways, we are still alive and going. I just, oh my god, it's a little smack. Charge! Let's see how much to do. Oh, that's a big hit, yeah. This is definitely dealing a lot more damage than my standard gear. I'm not even sure if I'm taking more damage, but it's hard to gauge. What do you guys reckon? Am I taking more damage? Is purple like a better compared to standard? Leave your comments below and we'll discuss it. Until the next time.